if something happens. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you know what they say: expect the worst, and that's probably what's going to happen.
Well, we are Spurs fans, so
That is, that's how I've been managing things lately.
these beers, these little tiny beers, make my hands look like they're giant. I look like a giant.
And honestly,
I'm Gulliver.
how can you be drinking too much of those if they're so small, right?
Well, I mean, you could drink 12 of them.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's 7 fluid ounces, Steve.
That's yeah. 7 is just about 5, and 5 is what even is 5?
Right? Yeah, five's a fake number.
It's true. It's true. I agree.
Oh, Christ Almighty! Boy, what a fucking Monday.
It is a Monday. You want to record a podcast?
I would love to record a podcast. How about you?
I have some thoughts that I would like to share. Yes,
Okay, then.
they might even be related.
All right, fine. Let's do it then.
Let's do it.
What time is it?
It's time for Work at Spursy.
Hey, this is Wicked Spursy. We got Mike and Steve coming at you today on this frigid Monday, January 26th. Mike, how are you doing?
Frigid is not what I was described as in high school.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, I was a player.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's completely untrue. I was a football player.
That was also high school. What about today? What about the here and now?
The here and now, would I be called a player? No, but I find it easier to speak to people in general, I think. I feel more confident around members of the opposite gender. And actually all genders, because I don't know if I wasn't very confident speaking to people. You ever see what's the one with Penny, the show with Penny, all the
Big
goddamn
Bang
nerds?
Theory?
Yeah, Big Bang Theory. I'm like Raj. Bang
Oh,
Theory.
gotcha.
You get a couple of beers in me and I'm great.
Now,
Now, I mean, that was in high school, right? Yeah. Now, I'm pretty open to talk to anybody.
yeah, confidence is a hell of a thing. I figured that out well after high school myself.
And lately, Steve, I have found the what's the word for it? Confidence to speak my mind to people that I feel are, well, we'll get into that in the final thoughts. How about that?
Oh yeah, I'm sure we will.
Because I think there's going to be a big final thought from both of us tonight, and I think it might be a kind of a lengthy discussion.
Yeah, I think so. Perhaps we should get the sports talk out of the way before we piss everybody off. And you should keep politics out of your podcast. You should go fuck
No.
yourself. It's
fact,
the
I
way
won't.
it is.
Yeah. So yeah. How about you? I mean, like, we have we got a foot of snow overnight, right? And then probably got another 7 to 10 inches today. Did 2 or 3 shovelings of the driveway because it was, shovelable. I think that all the snow that we got over the past couple of days is going to pack down pretty soon.
Oh, absolutely.
And it'll look like we got like 3 inches of snow. But yeah, I mean,
Right
it
now
was
it's fluffy
easily
as fuck.
shovelable. Lucas and I shoveled my entire driveway. And you see my driveway, like we shoveled the entire driveway shoot in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's light, it's fluffy. It was fun to walk the dog through, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, man. The pets love that shit, right? I mean, it's fucking great.
Yeah, bouncing around. I mean, my dog's so small, she just kind of looked like a shark just skimming the top. Couldn't see the little legs.
Oh.
Oh well. I don't understand why school was canceled. I think that was a little bit what are we doing? Maybe that's the old man in me.
Well, too, Steve, is that like they haven't canceled any school yet this year, so
Yeah, I'm throwing him a bone, I guess.
yeah. Give him a shout. I mean,
but you know who I'm not throwing a bone to?
Who?
Thomas Frank.
Boy, imagine.
I know. I'm just coming in hot today.
Completely hot.
Yeah. What the fuck, man?
I don't know.
What are we doing here? I feel like this is the third or fourth week in a row I started this conversation with just what are we even doing?
I mean, yeah. What even are we doing? Like, I'm like literally sitting here. I'm somewhere in between like belief and complete fucking breakdown.
That's fair.
Like on Tuesday, I was like, where the fuck is this team been? Right? Even before the setting off, I was just like, where has this team been? And where has Thomas Frank been to deploy these tactics? And
then it was just, oh, right, we're shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it, we'll get into it, but I think a lot of it was on the players on the weekend. But also, I feel like maybe he tried some things that were just. I think he saw that what worked against Dortmund and said, "Well, that worked. I might as well try it again." Except I'm going to throw Conor Gallagher in there and then put an actual winger up front. I don't know. I mean, like talking about how like it was maybe Jed Spence's Gareth Bale moment, right? And no, he's not Gareth Bale. I think that the defensive back four was stronger with the Dougie. I just didn't think that, like, I don't know, like playing with the back three at the weekend was different than what he did against Dortmund.
Yeah, and for me, it was the complete wrong decision. And it's Burnley. It's fucking Burnley. You don't need to play with 5 defenders out there against fucking Burnley, and if you do to protect your goal, then what the fuck are you doing? It's one of these things that's just, it blows my mind. And, you see folks trying desperately to give them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, well, we looked good. Yeah, compared to fucking Burnley. I mean, we should be looking good compared to Burnley. We should be blowing them out of the water. And we had to scramble for a draw. That is not good. That is fucking far from good.
I mean, this season feels like super, super familiar, right? I mean, but like kind of strangely unresolved at the same time. Like we have the week where we beat Dortmund, and I get it. Like Dortmund's not the same team that they have been, and the same club even that they have been in the past, but there's still a class team in their league, right? They are a team that competes well in the Champions League. A lot of these Bundesliga teams do compete well in the Champions League, right? But we beat them convincingly, professionally, and then like a few days later, like we have our away fans are standing there in the cold of Turf Moor, and they're just watching 2 points just like easily leak away at Burnley. Like, we're like us at home. We have the ability to throw things at televisions, scream into the void without anybody going, "What's wrong with that fucking guy?" I mean, I guess if we were at the stadium, we would have the same ability, but like, I'm tired of the highs and lows of this shit, and the football's not good, man. The football's not good, and I think that's what we kind of really should be talking about this. Like, you know, either trying to, I mean, I should say, depending who you ask in our chat, is either trying to stabilize something that was already fragile, or we're actively trying, or he's actively holding Spurs back, you know, based on whatever kind of football that he wants to play on a given week. So, you know, I just we got to go back to identity. What is the identity of this club, and why is it so important right now? Because I feel like we're stuck between possibly being something coherent, which we see in those performances in the Champions League, and just fucking completely unraveling and ending up getting probably relegated if we continue in this current form. You can't just pick up 1 point in 4 games.
Fucking Burnley.
Yeah.
You know, this is a team that hasn't won in double-digit games. Same with West Ham. Those were games that we should have won convincingly.
6 points easily, right?
Yeah, and we walk away with 1. Not good enough. It's not. And frankly, the only reason we got 1 is because Christian Romero is an absolute psychopath, just fucking playing second striker as a center back. Like, I don't know if that's a Thomas Frank thing, or if he is just like that fed up that he is just putting himself up top to try and get something.
I mean, Romero being, you know, the team captain, I think that, like, in both games, right? Like, in both games, scoring goals seemed kind of inevitable, you know? I mean, he was he is the team captain, so he's going to go out there and he's going to perform his best. I still don't believe that he wants out. I don't believe that he wants to be gone. I think he wants to just work with a coach that cares about how they play, that cares about the identity of the club, and that cares about winning games. Right? And I just don't feel that coming from the coaches. Like, Christian Romero, hate him, love him, frustrated by him. He goes out there, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he plays. Sometimes he's a fucking liability, a complete liability, and we bitch about it, but we will bitch about it when people are complete liabilities. And sometimes he's just fucking brilliant. But the thing that you can never, ever, ever say about Christian Romero is that he doesn't care. And I feel like there are some podcasters out there that I've listened to recently that have talked about Christian Romero just not caring and seemingly not caring, and I just don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
He wouldn't have headed that ball in against Burnley with the force that he did.
No, he's somebody who wants to win. I don't think there's any doubt. It's, you know, sometimes I think he overdoes it a bit, but there's no doubt in my mind that he is a player who genuinely wants to do everything he can to win a game. But for me, from a management perspective, I just think it's overly cautious. I think the way that we're set up, the way that we're trying to attack games, and I use the word attack very, you know, in quotes, it's cowardly at times. You know, it doesn't feel like anybody is willing to take a risk. Anybody wants to, you know, try and force an issue. And that's the piece that I think is a failure on management. You know, it's what I respected about Ange. For all his faults, he was somebody who, you know, he had his identity. He knew what he wanted to do, and he was going to fucking play it, you know, for all its faults. And I think that's probably too extreme in the opposite direction from what we have now. But I would certainly love to see more of that sort of, you know, hey, yeah, you know, they made a mistake, but they tried something really difficult, and I respect that. You know, I want the team to just try to look like they want to do something, as opposed to what I perceive as them wanting to not do something, which is make a mistake, right? I think at times they just play the ball that is easier, that is, less likely to cause issues, I do find that when they do that, they end up shooting themselves in the foot more often than not because it's comfortable. You know what I mean? Like it's if you're trying to play that pass backwards because you feel comfortable that it's going to reach the defender, maybe you're not putting all your effort into it, and then it gets picked off, and we're on a counterattack situation. But I just don't see as many people making runs off the ball. I don't see as many people trying to take on the defenders or dribble through or pass around. It's the same story, regardless of who's out there, what side it's on. It's okay. I've run the ball down the channel. We have one person in the box, so I'm going to play it backwards, and then they're going to play it backwards, and then we're just going to pass it around between the center backs and midfield for a little bit, and then we'll try it again. And surprise, surprise, it doesn't work because nobody is doing anything different.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the team is going to change. Things are going to change because you have Solanke back. He's coming back into form. He's coming back into game fitness, match fitness, whatever you want to say. I think in the Dortmund game, he was quietly efficient. I think at points like his pressing was like, and he's like we know he's a pressing monster, right? And he's not going to take any stupid chances that defensively trying to win balls back or trying to win 50-50 balls. He's not going to take any of those big chances quite yet till he's really confident and calm on his feet again. But like, he did what he was supposed to do, right? In that game, he occupied the defenders. He finished his chance, with a beautiful back foot goal that let's face it, was unintentional, but it was still beautiful. I think he tripped over the ball, really. But still, I'm going to say it was very intentional. And it was an intentional back foot because he knew we went over the top of it. Wilson Odegaard, after a big fucking whiff, like. But still, like, I think Solanke was a presence in both matches, and he'll continue to be a presence as he gets more and more match fit. We're never going to see Madison or Decky again. They'll never play for this club again. I'm convinced of it.
Do they even exist? I feel like they've just been quietly, disposed of in the trash somewhere. Although I did see an interview with Decky just today, I think, that came out. So for all intents and purposes, he's alive, I guess.
I mean, we didn't know that Udogie was coming back, right? He just showed up on the team sheet. So, yeah.
That's like a new signing. I'm sure that just triggered somebody.
Kind of, yeah, right, yeah. So, like, yeah, basically, the Dortmund game wasn't like chaos ball. It wasn't, just the typical Spurs trying to hang on. Like it was a team that looked prepared for me versus the Burnley match. But like this was the perfect version of Tottenham that we've wanted to see. And like then you get into like same old problems with fucking Burnley, right? And obviously it was cold there. The fans, like, it's an awkward kind of ground to play on because it's a small stadium, right? And let's face it, like they're probably getting relegated. I think the thing we're going to be watching is West Ham and Nottingham Forest, but or even Tottenham.
Yeah, I don't think we can rule ourselves out of that conversation at this point.
But I think that the players were giving an effort out there. That's the thing. But I think they let themselves down at points.
They're fragile.
Every single metric that you can see, like, we had 12 shots on goal. You don't lose games when you have 12 shots on goal. So something special has to happen on the other side. Like, Dubravka was fucking good, dude. And I don't rate this dude. I don't rate Dubravka at all. I mean, I know he was at excuse me, he was at Newcastle for a bit, right? But I just don't rate the guy. I don't think he's a great keeper. But keepers in these relegation sides are generally they generally have their best games against Spurs. And I don't know what it is about Spurs. Why did we choose them? Um, you know, I think we found ourselves in a match that like it demanded grit, control, game management, as well as ball control, um, as well as heady defending, right? And precise passing because once they equalized, they got a little bit I feel like they got a little bit brave and they started pressing us. And that's where things like really actually they might have even gotten brave before that and started pressing us. But like the equalizer was absolutely brutal. And it was not just because of the timing, but because of what it does psychologically to a team at the end of a half. And we just didn't reset. We didn't regroup from that. And that's when Burnley sensed that, that weakness. They're a dog backed into a corner and they sensed the weakness and they went right after it. And it's like that in a game where we were hitting crossbars, we were putting shots on goal, and um, we're a team that struggles to kill games, and it just didn't look good. We can't kill games. We can't handle a press, and I feel like we've seen this fucking movie before, man. It's
I
just
mean,
it
we
doesn't feel
have
good.
because we called it last week when we said, well, this is the perfect situation to beat Dortmund and then lose to Burnley. I mean, we got the draw, but it's still, 6-1. Um, but I think, bringing this conversation kind of back full circle to what we were talking about right at the beginning here, right? It's confidence. It's and I do think that there is a player portion of that. That I'm not going to put entirely on Thomas Frank, although I personally don't believe he is helping things. But there is a player component where they're just mentally fragile when something goes against them. It's like a collapse. Some of the body language that was out there. Look at Xavi Simmons, who when something would get saved or he'd hit the crossbar, it just looked like it defeated him.
Yeah, and
You
like
know,
how the like I understand where he's at. It's like how the fuck does this keep happening, right? I've been there in my career, right? Where in my athletic career, my short athletic career, but like knowing that like you have the ability to create an effect on a game that where you can take it over and things just don't go off the way that you plan them, and you feel like I'm the better player. I have the better ability to take over this game, and you just can't. And you just can't. And for whatever reason, it's just not coming off. He had balls taken from him. I'll tell you what, like I was impressed at his recoveries, at his ball recoveries after losing balls, on the dribble or from a weak pass. Like this isn't, he just still hasn't made that switch yet. That like he hasn't been able to figure out that switch to, you know, Premier League football where like this is not the Bundesliga. You don't just play lazy passes, right? But now it seems like he is able to go and recover those balls that he loses. He had a couple of really really nice recoveries that led to opportunities. It's just we're not burying things, we weren't burying things. And
and look, I'm totally pleased with a lot of the effort. I'm not trying to diminish the effort of some of these players out there, but there is a piece in my mind that they're just lacking in that mental fortitude. I think Christian Romero has it. He's somebody who, when things go behind, he just wants to, he's got that chip on his shoulder. He wants to go out there and make something happen. But I do feel like there's too many players that we have that don't have that. And we do have a lot of young guys out there too, right? Wilson Odebear's young, Matthias Tell, Xavi Simmons, Bergvall before he got injured, and we'll never see him again. Archie Gray. These are all young guys who maybe don't have that same mental fortitude. And I think this is where the organization comes in,
I
right?
mean, Steve, is this and not to interrupt you, but like with these young players, is this the way you want to develop them and develop that mental fortitude? Because like you run the risk of breaking them early in their
Oh,
careers.
absolutely. Absolutely. But what is our organization doing? We're recruiting young talent for the future. And we brought Connor Gallagher in, great. And then we brought
And
in
he's looked good,
Sosa,
man.
who, we'll never see him because there's no way he's starting a game. Um, it's one of these things where I feel like the balance is by and large off, and there's whether it's through injury, through lack of appropriate transfer activity, whether it's not investing enough in sports psychology, whatever the case might be, I think too many players on the team, they start to get into this cycle of it didn't come off, it's never going to come off. What are we doing? And performances dip, the ambition dips, the drive to do anything dips, and that impacts the team as a whole. You can't just have two or three guys out there trying and trying and trying. It doesn't work. You need more than that. You need guys who can lift their teammates, and unfortunately, just one or two players isn't going to cut it. And unfortunately, again, a lot of the guys that could do that are injured. And what have we done about that? Nothing. We have not done an effective enough job at replacing the mentally strong players in the squad to, kind of balance out these younger, talented guys who maybe don't have that life experience to bounce back from a mistake.
I mean, yeah, and that's what's kind of really frustrating too. At the same time, though, is like you go into the Champions League, right? You see a team, those same players that we're talking about, those same young players, is the team that's capable of controlling a Champions League match, right? At least a Champions League league phase match, not necessarily a knockout match yet, but like, it, and then they're just unable to manage a Premier League relegation battle match, right? So like
It's
that's
wild.
that's the thing about that, Steve, is that it's not random. It's completely it's structural, and that's I think that's what you're saying, right? And it's
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
like and it's not just about the recruitment. It's about game management. It's about adjustments,
It's
in-game
holistic.
adjustments, um, in that mental resilience we're talking about, but it also has to do with tactical flexibility. And tactical flexibility doesn't mean you have to change the fucking system every single match.
No,
You
absolutely
don't
not.
have to, but you do have to change the system a bit to cater to the style of team of play that you're playing against. The
I mean,
teams
let's look
know
at
that when they're
Burnley.
gonna come in and play us, they're gonna be able to press us, and we're gonna fucking lose. We're gonna break.
Yeah,
We're
look at Burnley. Look at how both of those teams managed the game, right? One team, Burnley, made subs much earlier on, and Spurs, Thomas Frank, we didn't, even though to me, watching that game, we needed substitutes on 15 minutes before they actually came on, and we didn't get it. And I don't know if that was just Frank trying to protect players, or he truly didn't think that we were in a position where we needed to make changes. But, me being the armchair manager, I'm looking at this game, fucking thousands of miles away on my TV going, something needs to be done. Some of these players need to be, given a break because they're gassed already. We need something to go differently. And it took us going down a goal before anything happened. If in my mind, it's hindsight being 2020, would we have conceded had we made changes earlier and tried to kill the game?
Well, that's the thing, Steve. Like, I mean, we're not gonna make changes pre-half, right? I mean, unless you
We
absolutely
didn't
have
need
to.
to, but 55, 60 minutes, make those changes.
Right. I mean, it's 1-1 at that time, right?
Yeah.
But like and I don't want to harp on this piece either because we do as Spurs fans keep a keen eye on what the fucking idiots a few miles down the road are doing, right? And when Arteta saw that it wasn't going his way, what did he do? At fucking 55 minutes, said, I'm going to make 4 fucking changes right now. And it almost worked. It almost worked. It's just like,
Yeah.
and maybe it's that Michael Carrick is, Michael Carrick. Anyway, man, he was a good Spurs player. I don't care what anybody says. He, I know it was only a few years, but he scored a lot of goals and he was a good Spurs player. Anyway, but like maybe it's that Carrick is getting that new manager bounce. Who knows? Like he's probably not the guy who's going to end up at United as their manager, right? At the end of the season, but like at least Carrick showed that like he is tactically flexible enough to be able to understand what Arteta did and make those adjustments. Like so at least Arteta and even Michael Carrick in a game where I just didn't care. I didn't want either one of them to win. In fact, I wanted the stadium to blow up. But
you're on a watch list now. It's all right. By the end of the night, we'll both be on it. It's fine.
Blow up with rainbows and butterflies is what I meant.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So many that you couldn't play. You couldn't find a way to play the match. Anyway, and we just haven't had managers that were willing to do that in the past few years, right? We just don't look adaptable, right? When plan A works and it looks solid, the team looks solid, right? And when it doesn't, there isn't a plan B. There's not a convincing like plan B. So like against Dortmund, I mean, we could sit in the structure and ruin them and punish their mistakes, right? Against Burnley, you need control, you need patience, you need to be able to work the ball into the box. You need to be, you have to have authority. And we just didn't find it. And I guess that's where the frustration with Frank comes from. Like, not that he's bad or he's bad for the team. It's just that maybe he's just a little bit limited. And we didn't think about that. We didn't notice that because he was coaching a Brentford team that wasn't expected to do anything. Right. So when you're sitting mid-table and you're Brentford or you're challenging for possibly a Conference League game or even a Europa League showing, then that looks like you're the greatest manager on the planet because you have limited resources. And maybe we get fooled by this shit again. Right.
I mean, it's entirely possible he's just, big fish in a small pond type situation. And, now that he's up with the big boys, the pressure's too much. That's feasible. I mean, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that necessarily. It happens from time to time. But I do think, again, going back to the organization of the club, if that is the case, which personally I believe it is, that's on the club to have made that decision and make the change. But instead, it seems like we're stubbornly holding on because our chairman over there struck gold with Arteta. And I'm sure he probably feels like he's, the smartest man in the room because it worked out for Arsenal, but it's not working here. And again, I've said this week after week after week, I don't see anything that makes me think it's going to change. There's nothing in my mind, whether it's tactics, whether it's how the players are responding. There's nothing that makes me look at Thomas Frank as a manager and think, this is a guy who, if we give a couple of more years to, can turn the ship around. Of course, the follow-up is, all right, so we sack him. Who do we bring in?
Well, you're not bringing in Xabi Alonso.
No.
You're not going to bring in Xavi Hernandez.
I don't want Xavi Hernandez. I think
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just talking about the managers that are out there. You definitely not. I definitely don't want Arne Slot, and and like,
but at the same time, it's wild to me.
And I definitely don't want fucking Ryan Mason. I just heard this the other day.
No, absolutely not. But it is, to me, it's absolutely insane to consider that Liverpool might sack their coach and we're still stuck with Frank.
They're in a
You know,
Champions League battle, and we're in a relegation battle. You know, and it feels, Steve, it feels like we're stuck with Frank for this season, doesn't it? I mean, are we?
it does, and it sucks because this to me has the hallmark of we'll be coming back to this conversation in 2 months, thinking, okay, well now we are truly in a relegation scrap, and now the club has finally decided to pull the trigger. Is it too little, too late?
February is
Are
a
we?
gauntlet, Steve. February is a gauntlet.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we got a single point in February.
I mean, I think we can beat Newcastle. I don't think they're that fucking great, but
But we
that's going to
suck.
require some creative defending by Christian Romero on Nick Voltamata. Even though the guy can't fucking figure out how to finish anymore, but like,
Oh, they'll find a way. Dr. Tottenham coming to save the day. But you look at that, man, you look at that fixture list, and it is daunting, and it leaves me wondering, hey, Mike, what you drinking?
you asshole, you got me. Well, Steve, I'm going to tell you, I love it when you ask that question, but like, so the other night I was at the Appropriation Lodge, and having a drink with my good friend Brewmaster Terry, and I was chatting on the Extra Inch Discord about in the beer channel with Adam and our friend from the Boston Spurs, from Schoolie Spurs, I must say, and we were chatting about my IPA fatigue talk, but I had a Tamave Pivo, and a dark lager, man, and made by River Roost Brewing, fucking phenomenal. So I said, you know what, this week, for Hey Mike, I'm gonna run to the bevy. Went to the bevy. So many good looking beers there. So many good bottles. There were a lot of they have like, so they've imported these mini kegs, these little personal mini kegs from Germany. They had some Kolsch style ales there, and they had a couple of different they had a Helles lager too that they had imported in a German Pilsner, but I didn't get it. I held on to my money, but I got a couple of 4-packs. I got this one from Lost Nation, and Lost Nation just reopened. This one is Rise Up Kolsch, but that's not what I'm going to do tonight. I saw this one, and I was very excited about it, because it's a newer. It's not even a microbrewery. It's a nano brewery, smaller than a microbrewery. If you've ever been to Jericho, Vermont, are they still based in Jericho? Oh no, it's actually, so they're based in Jericho, but I'm gonna say it. They're a gypsy brewer.
Oh no.
Well, I don't know if they're gypsy brewers. They don't brew wherever they can, but they contract brew. Kramer and Kin.
Oh yeah, I know them.
Yeah. Their bottle shop, or their bottle shop. I don't know if it's not really a draft house, but they kind of have the coffee there too. Their beers are really good, and what's great is that like they're about a sustainable agriculture. Their model is sustainable agriculture, and being kind of rooted in the community too, which I love. But I haven't had one of these types of beers in a long, long time. Look at this can art too.
I've actually had this beer before.
Have you? Okay.
I got it specifically because of the bee.
Oh, because of the bee. Okay. All right.
I'm a sucker for a fun bit of can art. I see a bee and I want to try it.
Yeah, nice can. Oh, it tells you all about the different bees. It's got the queen bee, the drone bee, the worker bee.
Oh, so they've got a picture of Beyonce on there too?
Yeah, the queen bee, yeah. Fucking wise ass. So while I pour this, let's get into what a honey ale is. This is a honey ale. So everybody
I have
thinks
to
that
imagine
honey
it's
ale,
made with honey.
It's ale made with honey. So honey ales can come in a bunch of different varieties. What it really does is it doesn't add a lot of sweetness. You get that taste of the honey if there's enough honey in it, but there's very little residual sweetness because the yeast in the beer eat up all of the sugar from the honey. So generally, you end up with a higher alcohol, lighter body type of a beer. You can definitely smell the honey in the honey ales, but there isn't like a strict style that like the honey ale sits in. It can typically they're blonde ales or pale ales. Sometimes they'll have like a honey brown. Remember, I don't know if you remember J.W. Dundee's honey brown.
No.
No, they were like a microbrewery. J.W. Dundee's was a microbrewery that got bought by I think either Miller or Anheuser Busch when I was in high school. But we used to drink that because it was, we thought that was fancy beer because we weren't drinking natural light. Like you pay $5 a six pack, you're paying $5 a six pack for J.W. Dundee's, right? Honey brown. So these beers are going to have low bitterness because they don't use a ton of hops. They're clean finish. And it's definitely not fucking mead, You're not just fermenting fucking honey and water. This beer is going to be nice and golden. It's a fucking beautiful looking beer.
It really is.
And boy, does it smell good. I haven't had a honey ale in a long time, so I'm very excited. And I'll tell you that Long Trail Pollinator used to be a honey ale, and it's not anymore.
Damn. Well, here comes the taste. That is a nice looking beer, though. That is like if you're painting a beer, that is the exact coloring in my mind that you want.
Steve, top 5 beer.
Ooh.
This is a fucking top 5. This is a Prime Deli.
Oh my God. I'm still thinking about that Crystal Palace goal.
Oh my God, dude. Like,
How many years has it been?
I'm pumped to have another one of these, man. I am pumped to have another one of these, like, immediately. But I have a meeting after this, so I can't do that.
Damn.
These beers are definitely anybody who likes a cream ale. This beer specifically, anybody who likes a cream ale or a blonde ale, that's something that's like this beer is super fucking crushable. What is the ABV on this? 5.6. Yeah, good. So it's gonna be like a pale ale. It's gonna be like a cream ale, but you're gonna have higher alcohol. Like cream ale is gonna sit between 4% and 5%, 4.2 to 5. This sits a little higher because of that honey. Dude, this fucking beer is good, man. So you've had this specific beer already. This is a top 5 beer for me.
I really liked that. I thought it was fantastic.
I'm going to go get more. Oh man, I can't wait to tag them in the notes on this on their social media. This is fucking great beer. This is great beer, Steve. And I'm going to tell you, since I stopped like really pounding IPAs, really finding my love for beer again, because I was getting really bored, man. Finding my love for beer again. This is great, dude. This is great.
I'm ready with my rating too.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
4.8.
Oh, wow. I didn't think you were going to go that high. Damn. I went with 4.5. Maybe it's that top 5. I thought, okay, there's going to be a 5 here somewhere.
This beer is so, dude, I want to text my wife and tell her to come taste this. This is fucking good beer.
You'll have time to bring her some.
I will. She's directly above me right now, playing with the dog. If you can't hear that,
I can't.
It makes me happy, man. It does make me happy. Yeah. This is like, you're at the pub. You're getting a little pissed, right? After, like pissed, like drunk pissed. You're feeling like, man, maybe I shouldn't have another, but I could probably have one of those. It's that type of a crushable beer. But at 5.6% alcohol, you can have a Budweiser. But why would you if you had one of these beers? This is a top 5 beer, like, all time for me.
Damn.
I can't even believe it's coming out of this brewery. I expected some sort of, like, off taste, like, something that I just didn't like. This beer tastes really, really, really good.
That's, I'm glad that we have such a positive beer because you know what's next, Mike? Next is our look ahead.
Oh, let me see if I can pull up. Sorry, I've been kind of following this thread that's happening in this meeting I have to have later. Let's see what we got here coming up here for Tottenham Hotspur. The Tottenhamers.
We've got Eintracht Frankfurt on Wednesday, and then we are back for Manchester City to start February. Honestly,
Everton and Leeds drew today, huh?
This is another one of those situations where I think we can probably win the Champions League game. They're already eliminated. They've got nothing to play for. We have everything to play for. So of course that means we're going to lose.
I don't see a world where we lose this game. I mean, Mickey is back.
We better not. We better not lose this fucking game.
Yeah, I don't see a world where we do lose it, Steve.
Manchester City could be an interesting one, though.
What's that?
That's one where we have been their bogey team for a while, but I just, I don't feel confident, man.
Look, my guess is that, like, are we gonna because Arsenal dropped points, and allowed City to get kind of back in the race. They're 4 behind. Aston Villa's 4 behind. Man, I mean, the battle for the 4th spot's going to be fun, right, to watch this year. And United is very, very in it. But what does Arsenal's look ahead look like, right? Like, is this going to be one of the ones where we're going to start talking about? They have to play Leeds. They have to play Leeds, which is a tricky fixture for them. And then they have to play Chelsea, who they're getting a new manager balance, and then they have to play Sunderland. So, like, is this going to be a game where we're going to intentionally drop points or have to have the conversation about intentionally dropping points to City so that Arsenal can win the league? I don't think so. I think Tottenham needs to fucking win games. I think Thomas Frank needs to win games. And I think he has to figure out a way to do it. I never liked that conversation to begin with. And again, like, we can discuss this all we want, but, like, these are professional athletes. They don't just go out there looking to drop games because of a fucking stupid rivalry, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if the other side of this coin too is that, like, unlike before where we were pretty locked in place and it was like the second to last game of the season.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we had our place in Europa, like, locked up already. So, like, this is not going to be a situation where Spurs are going to drop points. They can't afford to drop points. And again, these are professional athletes. That's not how their minds are wired, right? They don't give a shit about the stupid rivalries in Arsenal on the other side of it, right? Like, they
should want to win.
This is not 1975, this is not 1980, 86, like, these guys are not, like, gonna go try and knife each other in the fucking opposing locker room, right? They're not trying to, like, fucking 2-foot each other on the fucking field, even. Like, they don't give a shit about each other. They give a shit about their team, and they give a shit about their paychecks, and they give a shit about their livelihood, and their player and the players around them. They're brothers on the field, right? So I don't think Frankfurt 1 is going to be an issue. They should not be an issue. Man City, I think we are their bogey team. And as much as I would hate to beat them and give more breathing room to Arsenal, I think we need the win. I think psychologically for the team, they need the win. We beat Man City earlier in the season, and they're vulnerable again right now. And Man City's in a space right now where Rodri has been accused of possibly doing some I don't know, some untoward things as far as on the field, getting those 2 yellows against Bodo Glimt and losing that match. Like in quick succession, those 2 yellows. Like, so he has been accused of possibly helping some gamblers. So
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't know what's going to happen. We can only hope and pray that we get some positive results. But before we wrap up our next segment, I do want to. When I was looking up what we had this week, it also dawned on me that it's the end of the transfer window for January, right? And there is a rumor out there, not a very big one, but it's different from anything I've seen. And it's this rumor that Spurs are in for Wolves left back Hugo Bueno.
Oh, okay.
But what's interesting is
that because is that because of the shit that happened with AR and the fact that like
yeah, we missed out on Robertson, so now we're trying to
because Fulham can't find anybody to replace the player that they were supposed to be giving to.
Yeah, it's a whole big thing. But regardless of whether or not this is legitimate,
I like yeah, good player.
What's interesting to me is this quote from this article that says, if Spurs truly want to progress, they need signings that change mentality, not just fill gaps. And man, if that doesn't hit close to home right about now.
No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, that's a good headline. I mean, I don't know how glitchy or filled with bullshit ads and shit the source material is that you've pulled that from. I mean, football.
I mean, it's probably bullshit, honestly.
Football.London is unreadable.
Very true. But hey, you know, we do have the end of the transfer window coming up this week. If something happens, it's going to happen in the next couple of days. You know, we just got to wait and see, I guess.
Yep. We'll see. We'll get some big fucking surprise in. And we'll be like, oh, okay, that could work. I mean, that's how I feel about Bueno. I mean, I think that's kind of solid. That's kind of solid. And it allows it allows Jed to maybe still pursue the upfront / midfielder role. It allows Jed to play on the right-hand side. I think Jed Spence is a guy who's going to become indispensable for this club, and I think he's going to be he's eventually going to be a face of the club, and I think it's a good thing. I think Jed Spence is a great player, and he is kind of going to be a Swiss Army knife, and he's going to be a guy who's going to be able to play everywhere. He's strong on the ball. He's just gotta, if he wants to play forward, he has to learn how to finish. You know.
Absolutely.
I think he works well with. I really think he works well with Udogie. So who knows?
I think it's interesting, but we are coming up to the last few minutes here, and I want to take some time for us to have this what I imagine is going to be interesting conversation. I think it needs to happen, but any last Spurs related things before we move on to our final thoughts?
Man, I miss Decky.
I also miss Decky. Maybe he'll come back this season. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, I guess we can move on to our final thoughts. And Mike, I'm going to let you go first, if you would be so kind, because I mean, I think you're more measured than I'm going to be.
Yeah. So and I know again we've been kind of pegged as the political whatever. We say some things, but
it's important, in my mind.
I think that we're socially conscious, the two of us at the very least, are socially conscious, good human beings.
Or at least we try to be.
We try to be. And for anybody who's watching the stream, I have Iron Front / Nazi Hunter um on my name tag here. So basically right now in the United States, we just had another ICE related execution murder of a gentleman who was there filming. He was trying to protect a woman who was shoved to the ground. Yes, he was carrying a firearm on his in his waistband, on the back of him, on his waistband. At
Legally,
no
by
point
the way.
legally permitted to do so. This is a man who, near and dear to my heart, it was a medical worker. He was an ICU nurse, and the ICU nurses, the ER nurses are the best of them. I'm going to tell you. I work in the operating room, but I can tell you that, like in my experience, the ICU nurses, the ER nurses are the best of the nursing staff out there. Not to diminish it what any other nurses do, but
it's a hard job.
He worked at a veterans facility, treating our nation's heroes, and he was out there trying to be a hero himself, and record and show the things that were going on in his community. And he wasn't being an agitator, and I know that, like, in some spaces, like, you can look at what happened with Renee Good, also not okay what happened to her. But she was her and her wife were agitating. He wasn't being an agitator. He was there trying to protect. So not to talk about the story anymore. I really want to get into what's going on in this country, and I think I've talked about it. Like, don't go pointing your camera, and don't I think I said it last week. Don't stick your camera in the face of these ICE agents. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. They're lawless. They don't care. We're at a turning point in this country right now, and you need to be on the right side of history, right? You need to be on the right side of humanity and good. And I went from shock that this happened to sadness, to frustration, to anger, and then into rage. I was, like, in my vehicle listening to the things that were happening, and screaming. I was screaming, like, I was listening, and I'm gonna say I was listening to MS Now in my truck on the way home from my son's practice, and I was like, I'm dropping my son off at practice, and I was screaming because even the liberal commentators on that network were not saying the things that were happening, which was a murder. Like, I do support the Iron Front. I'm anti-communist, anti-Nazis, anti-fascists. But here's the thing. The thing is that these people that are doing these things, they're playing fascists. They're playing Nazi cosplay. They're not smart enough to be fascists. They're not.
Oh, they're fucking morons.
They're just morons. They're fucking racist morons. They're somewhere in between. They're somewhere in between being skinheads and KKKs. They're low level people with zero education who find an opportunity to go and hurt people that are different than them, that are black, that are brown, that are queer, that are even straight. They've been given a platform to be able to go and shoot people that are different than them, and to hurt people that are different from them. It's not okay. It's not okay to treat people in this way. And I urge anybody, and I don't know, like, I don't really have the words for what I really want to say without being intentionally hurtful to people, but I know that you're probably going to.
Oh, don't you worry, Mike. I have no qualms about
I,
giving it to
I
him.
I do want to make sure that if you're going to go out there and protest safely. You know, if you're going to go out there and do the right thing and don't agitate, because when you agitate, bad things happen. I don't want to see bad things happen to good people. Um, like we saw, this weekend. This man was fucking executed in the street. Fucking executed. It was the first time that I've ever heard my own father say that he's ashamed to be a member of this, like to live in this country. Like, and my dad is a veteran. My dad's a fucking hero, you know? And this is the first time that I've ever felt like I'm ashamed of my government. My government is out in the streets killing people, and I'm ashamed. And I'm sorry. I mean, I don't dude, I don't fucking cry. But I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed to be an American right now. And it's a scary time. And I just want people to be safe and protect your families. And
Damn straight.
Yeah, I'll let you go, Steve.
Yeah, Mike, I'm still angry. I have been angry ever since I saw that video. Fuck ICE. This is, somebody put it, I think, a little bit more eloquently than I could. These are people who are trading in their humanity for temporary power when that's just all it is. It's temporary. It's the same shit we saw in Nazi Germany. They thought they were immune from consequences. And then as soon as the regime changed, oh, great. Now you're all getting hanged. They're morons. They're too stupid to realize that there will be consequences for their actions. Might not be today, might not be next year, but they're coming. People don't forget. That one dude who killed Renee Good, he's going to be in hiding for the rest of his life. He better be, because there's absolutely no way that people forget who he is. This fucking dipshit Greg Bovino, he thinks he's going to retire to his apple orchard in North Carolina. I can guarantee you nobody is going to let him have a moment's peace. If he manages to dodge any kind of prosecution when all this is done, there's no way the people of North Carolina are going to let somebody like that live peacefully in their backyard. He is fucked. And all these tiny people with their giant ass egos, they're going to get what's coming to them. There's no doubt in my mind. History has shown us time and time again that when people behave this way, when governments behave this way, people will rise up, people will take that power back, and there will be consequences. That gives me hope. But until then, I'm going to recommend that, especially if you're overseas, we've got a big event coming up this year, Mike. I don't know if you know, it's the World Cup 2026. And like I complained about Qatar, I am going to do that. I'm putting money where my mouth is, and I'm going to tell people right now, don't show up to this one. Do not travel to the US. It is not a safe place. It's not a good place to be. If you want to watch it, pirate the stream. I don't give a fuck. Just don't let your hard-earned dollars go anywhere near us, because we do not deserve it. And it's not the mom and pop shops that are going to hurt. It's the big corporations that are going to, hopefully take a hit on their advertising budget if people aren't filling those stadiums and watching the streams or whatever. These are ways that you outside of the country can help us really show, our government that enough is enough. Don't spend your money here. Don't come here. And frankly, for those of us who are in the US, figure out who you can and cannot shop with and use your money accordingly. I know people are going to say call your reps, contact your you know state representatives, your government officials. All that's great. But at the end of the day, it's money that's going to decide whether or not things actually happen. We're in Vermont fortunate enough to have some great representatives who, truly want to use their power to help us. That's not the case everywhere. You can leave them emails, you can leave them, voice messages, call their offices, talk to their interns, whatever. But at the end of the day, the only way any real change is going to happen is when the corporations that are backing them start to feel the pain financially. You've seen that these types of boycotts work. These types of strikes work. Target got rid of their inclusivity program and their store traffic dropped. They were feeling the pain financially. It's possible. Sometimes I sit here feeling like, well, what can I do? What can I as an individual do? I'm not in Minneapolis. I can't be out there, with a sign protesting and trying to rally people. But what I can do is I can look and say, okay, well, this corporation is sponsoring, state function executions. I'm not going to shop there anymore. And I'm going to tell people not to shop there. There are lists around there, going around. I will encourage you to verify anything. Witch hunts don't do anybody any good. But if you see something, I think it's easy when you have a smaller community, I think at times where you can say, oh yeah, John Smith down the road supports these people. Don't shop at his business. Great. Now, that's a tangible thing you can do. It's a little bit harder when, you have to play the shell game of, okay, well, who owns this company and are their owners doing it or, whatever. But at the end of the day, it does work. Using your money where it will do the most good is how we're going to get through this, because money is all these fuckers care about. And that's the only way we're going to get any change. So please support businesses that actually give a fuck. Support independent artists over corporate sponsored crap, AI bullshit slop. And just hold on to that hope, because it happens all the time. When this regime changes, these people will face consequences. But until then, like Mike said, just be careful, be safe. And I think it's important, if you have a platform, if you have somebody's ear, use it and let them know what is right and what is not right. Because there are people who are just, they're for, whatever the reason is, they're just ignorant to it. Maybe they don't know, maybe they don't care. But, if you're a friend or a family member, if you start telling them, hey, somebody was fucking executed on the street. Okay, well, maybe now you've got their attention. Maybe now they're willing to listen. But, don't fall into the trap of thinking I'm an individual, I can't do anything. Because I think as an individual, you can collect people. You can collect thoughts, you can collect voices, you can share them, and you can push towards something good. And I think, we as a country are in a really bad spot right now. But we as people, Mike, the rest of the Wicked Spursy family, Dave, Tristan, and Nikki Winks, and everybody, all of us would encourage you to do the best that you can and to not let these fuckers get away with it in the end.
And Brian would probably quote Churchill at some point.
Who would? Man, if only Brian were president, we wouldn't be in this mess.
And now something a bit lighter. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. You're probably not going to hear this before the announcement is made. But tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., it will be announced that Vermont Green will be playing Portland Hearts of Pine in the U.S. Open Cup at Virtue Field at 7 p.m. on St. Patty's Day.
Gotta wear
green. It's the worst kept secret on the planet, or it's at least the worst kept secret in the U.S. soccer world that we're gonna play them. We're gonna welcome Nathan Messer back to Virtue Field as he plays one more season for the Hearts of Pine, and hopefully gives us fans one more show, not too much of a show, at Virtue Field. He is one of our own, Vermont Green FC, who moved on to a professional career with the Hearts of Pine, and he'll be playing one more season there probably before he heads off to Europe to play for probably a League One or a championship team. So he's just too good to be playing in this country. But that said, like that's the announcement that is going to be made tomorrow, and I'm very excited to get back to Virtue Field on a cold, snowy March evening. I don't know if St. Patty's Day will be cold and snowy. It could be warm.
It's a toss-up. We'll see.
It's that time of year where it could be a toss-up. Yep.
Absolutely.
But guys, I really want to thank you all. I love and respect everyone.
Yeah. If you're still here, if you haven't turned us off, if you're one of the people who agrees, fuck ICE, fuck Nazis, fascists out, you all have my respect. There are far too many people who are comfortable with, oh, well, it's not happening to me, so I don't have to deal with it. No, fuck them. Fuck ICE. Fuck all these people. They're going to get what's coming to them, and I cannot wait for that day. But until then...
There are places you can go to donate if you need to folks who need it. Absolutely.
But until they get what's coming to them, all I have left to say is coys.
Anything else?
Yeah, and I really need to emphasize this, people. Don't be an asshole. Mike, bring it home.
Steve, I just want everybody to go out there, make sure that, one, you take care of yourself. 2, you take care of your neighbor. And 3, absolutely be safe.
And
up the fucking Spurs.